What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is your review for G Status Season 2, Episode 2. My review is going to probably be all over the place, just like that episode was. So, we start the episode off with an unnecessary 15-minute conversation with Hakeem and Zion. I got the name right. I apologize, Zion, last week. I called you Redrick. I called you something that wasn't your name, and I apologize. But we did get Zion. That whole scene was unnecessary. We did that last week. Zion, listen, I said it last week, and I guess I have to say it again. Whether Zion and Hakeem actually slept together or not, Zion ain't changing his story. I don't know. I tend to feel like Hakeem slept with somebody that looked like Zion, because he really does have some details. But I'm thinking it was somebody else. Because let's be clear, it's Hakeem. So, but even if it really was Zion, after 20 minutes of Zion saying it ain't me, I don't know what else I thought was going to happen. So, there was no need for us to continue that for the first 15 minutes of this episode. At the end of the day, Hakeem invited Zion to the dinner. Then we have Sherrod and Roman working out together. We meet Roman. We find out that Roman is a friend of Sherrod's. He's an actor, dancer. He does some other things. He's a Balenciaga. He belongs to the house of Balenciaga. So he's in the ballroom scene. They showed footage of him voguing and things like that. So far, so good. Seems like a cool dude. I don't really know. Sherrod said that they cool. He said, but he ain't no angel. And then they have this whole scene where Sherrod is talking about him and Tremel still have an issue because Tremel was on a radio show throwing shade at him. He's gonna confront Tremel the next time he see him. I don't even remember why y'all don't like each other. I don't even remember. I don't remember. I don't know. And Roman's, telling Sherrod, listen, you too nice, because if it was me, I would have handled it differently. Okay. So then, I feel like that's all the preliminary that took place before we spent the rest of the episode at this dinner. Now, listen, let me just throw a couple of things out before we get to the rest of this. Hakeem invited all of these people. I got questions. Normally, when somebody invites you out, they say that I'm having, first of all, everybody thought they would come into your house for some sort of cookout situation. At the most, when there's a cookout situation or a get-together situation, at the most, you might pick up a bottle or a side. But that's generally understood before you get to where you're going, what you're bringing. Y'all ended up at a Japanese steakhouse, a hibachi. And I'm just going to be real. That stuff ain't cheap. Depending on what you order, it could really be a decent bill. Did they tell y'all was paying for y'all dinner? Because anyway, so they were at the hibachi, child. And let me say this. I'm going to give a shout out to my girl Delicious and my boy Zion. Y'all were my MVPs of that dinner because y'all were unbothered the whole time. The whole time. Delicious was so unbothered that when they got to scuffling at the end and everybody was leaving out the room, she continued to sit there and eat her food with that face on her, with the look on her face that was like, I wish a motherfucker would. Shouts out to you, Delicious. So we get there and they're introducing people. They're going around the room introducing people. Let me be clear. I'm not even going to sit here and try to remember everybody's name. There's too many fucking people there that I didn't know. Y'all know I fuck up names on a good day. I ain't about to sit here and try to pretend like I'm remember everybody's name. But there was one annoying motherfucker that was there. 4. I'm sorry, Dre Simber. I know that's your boo thing. I rocks with Dre. But 4 is annoying as fuck. And I'm not understanding why he was commentating the whole dinner. Why we kept going back between him and Devon. We kept going back to their confessionals. Here's my issue with certain people. No, 4. Here's my issue with 4. My biggest issue with 4 is I have a really big problem when someone wants to keep telling me that they're what they are and how much above me they are and how they have so much of this and so much of that. And he talking about something, he gets flued out and he's done MTV, he's auditioned for this and he's done that and he's done real TV. And you're looking your nose down on Sherrod and some of these other people that's on the show. When, bitch, you on the show with me? I don't... Like, if you so big and you so, in demand and you... Like, why are you here? Why are you here? That irritates me. That works my soul. So I have a problem with that. So that was my biggest issue with Mr. 4. Because it was this whole thing of, I'm all of this and I'm all of that. But you're right here with me. There was 4 seemed to have a situation with some dude that he said asked him for a picture of his foot when he first moved to Atlanta. But you sent it. Like, my thing is this. Who's the bigger fool? The fool or the fool following the fool? Like, he asked you for a picture of your feet. Because he said he was a producer and, you sent it. Don't be mad at him. He might have a foot fetish. That might be his line. That might be what he uses to get pictures of feet. You sent him the picture. Don't be mad at him. Then there was a situation with Brandon. I think his name is Brandon. I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, they go around the table introducing themselves. And again, we got shade from the beginning. We got shade about who going to introduce themselves, who not going to introduce. Delicious stood up and was like, listen, I'm just going to put it out there. She introduced herself first. 4 had an issue with that. Then when we got to Redrick was like, I really wanted to meet Hakeem because I really wanted to have a conversation with him about the issues that he has with, men like me. And Delicious said, listen, me and you are like sisters in this situation because Delicious is transgender. Redrick is not transgender. Redrick just likes to, wear makeup and the wigs and everything like that. But she was like, we're like cousins in this, and we both live a hard life. We both have to go through, certain types of discrimination. So I got your back, and I think that you're beautiful, and I'm beautiful. And 4 goes off on this whole thing about how she's not beautiful, talking about the ugly person. I always want to be the first word. It's like it was just unnecessary shade. Because first of all, wasn't nobody even talking to you. So I'm just not understanding why you have an issue with everybody in the room. Like, you had an issue with everybody in the room except for Dre Simber. And that's because y'all are friends in real life. Like, and then Sherrod decided he was going to confront Tremel. Now, Sherrod, I love you down, boo. But it sounds like some crazy stuff because you going by what you heard was said at the radio show. Now, the guy who does the radio show was like, Sherrod, I'm right here. I'm telling you now, you my boy, you my friend. I would not let somebody dog you. I would not let somebody talk about you. So what did you hear that was said? And Tremel was like, I don't talk about you. You're not that important. What are you talking about? And Sherrod was basically like, just keep my name out your mouth. Don't throw no shade at me. Don't insinuate. Don't put nothing out there. Sherrod, it's just not that deep. Like, first of all, you can't make nobody not talk about it. Like, it's just not that. But just let it go. It's just not that serious, Sherrod. Just let it go. Devon is there. And, Devon was making some decent points. But at the same time, Devon was sort of irritating me a little bit too, but he was actually making some decent points about some things. Um, but he was talking about him being on Chasing Atlanta. He said that he was at a dark part. He was at a dark time in his life, and he is in a better place. And he did watch season one, and so he sort of had some ideas about certain people. He felt like they bullied Sherrod, so he was like, "I'm not gonna let nobody come on here bullying him because I don't play that bullshit." I felt like them throwing up, them throwing up, him being a porn star all the time or doing a porn stuff. Anyway, that he thought that was, that for them to keep bringing it up. He had an issue with that. He had a problem with that. He was like, they ain't not going to do that on my watch because I think that's some bullshit. So I was here for that because I do feel like they sort of bullied Sherrod last season as well with that. Then Hakeem shows up and he like an hour. I don't know how late he was, but it seemed like he was really extremely late. Now I don't know if that was by design or what. But he shows up and he says that this whole event is for networking. He said, I invited, we're all gay black men. And then of course he made some ignorant ass statements about Delicious, but I ain't even going. He called her a white woman. But he was saying how I brought all of us together because all of us are movers and shakers in Atlanta. And so I want to bring us together so that we can try and build some things, network and build some things. Then he said, so let's clear the air so that we can move forward and we can try to make some money moves. Let's clear the air. So then when people started trying to clear the air, Hakeem had a problem with that. And that turned into a whole thing because Roman and Brendan were trying to clear the air. First, Roman said that him and Sherrod had an issue, but he said, me and you can talk. We could talk one-on-one because our situation is private and I would prefer not to have it speak on it in a public forum. Sherrod was nodding his head like, I agree. Like, that's a private conversation me and you need to have together. So then Hakeem was going to say, nah, let's talk about it now. That's why we are here to clear the air so we can move forward. Brendan was like, you're not going to make me have a conversation that I'm not comfortable having in public. I said, me and Sherrod would clear it up. So then Roman said, well, look, me and you have an issue. Is our situation something we can talk about? Come to find out, it was just some misunderstanding on social media, some bullshit on social media that had escalated. They were able to get it cleared up, but not before Hakeem jumps up out his seat and gets loud and disrespectful. Y'all know how Hakeem get. Roman damn near they really about fought. Like, they literally pulled them apart and had to calm everybody down. Then they started talking again, and Hakeem brought Dre Summer in. So, of course, that was a whole thing for the people who knew Dre Summer from last season or who had watched the first season. Devon was immediately on guard because, like I said, he watched the first season. He felt some kind of way about some things. Of course, Sherrod was sitting there with the face like, here we go with this bullshit. And then Dre Summer, Dre Summer was Dre Summer. Y'all know he extra. And Dre Summer was like, basically asking Sherrod, like, what's good? Like, you've been talking shit. I'm here. Let's clear it up. It is what it is. What we gonna say? Now, there was a big ass hibachi grill between the two of them, so I don't really think nothing would have went down. But Sherrod just wasn't even really trying to engage. So then, somehow or another, I'm trying to remember when all of this went down. Like I said, I'm all over the place because shit. Why not? At some point, Hakeem stood up to talk. He was in the middle of chewing. And instead of just swallowing his food, He decided to take the food out his mouth, put it on his plate, and say what he had to say. I have never in my life seen no bullshit like that. As soon as Drake Summer showed up, Ford went from 100 to 150. So he was about to fight. Him and Devon got into it because Drake Summer made a comment about being an OG. And Devon took offense to the being the OG because he was like, if anybody here is an OG, it's me and Hakeem. Dre Summer, you not an OG because you came in the middle of last season. So as far as I'm concerned, that ain't no OG. We went through this on that other show that I don't want to talk about because I don't want to disrespect nobody else. No, I don't want to disrespect nobody else. But that whole OG shit, like, y'all, for real, you can't be an OG on a show that has only had one season. There's no OG here. You're just a returning cast member. Okay, you're not an OG on a show that's had one season. Somehow or another, Devon gets into it with Drake Summer and Four, and next thing we know, a drink goes flying, and that's where we have the whole food melee that we saw at the beginning of the first episode. A whole lot of shade and tomfoolery went on in between all of this. But that's pretty much the gist of the episode. Like I said, Delicious was left alone in the room, continuing to eat her fucking food. Okay? Ike was there. Ike was like, I'm not understanding what's going on here. None of this concerns me. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Roderick was like, I was just here to eat because I was hungry when I walked in the door. I wanted to have a conversation with Hakeem that never happened. Zion was just unbothered from the beginning. We do find out that Zion used to be an adult entertainer, though. We did find that out. There's a lot of adult entertaining going on in that room. And so, again, I don't understand why people continuously want to shade Sherrod when there was at least two other people in that room that was involved in adult entertainment. I think probably 3 or 4. But I know at least 2 other people outside of Sherrod. So why do we continue to shade people for this? It's legal. Like, Sherrod ain't out here doing nothing illegal, and the other people anyway, I'm not doing that. I'm already been there. I done gave this 17 minutes of my life. I don't have no more. That's pretty much what happened. I see y'all next week.